Hey YouTubers, this is the GSTV reviewer coming at you with another video for you guys today. So I just want to come up on here and give you guys my thoughts considering about the announcement of Disney Plus. This will be the upcoming video streaming service that will be launching at the very end of this year, and some of the content that will be featured on Disney Plus when it launches. First off, I just want to kind of do a bit of a rundown on the landscape of Disney and where they've been throughout the 10 years from 2009 all the way up to this very year. It's hard to believe, especially since it's been 10 years by the time we get to the summer, that it's been a decade since Disney has announced its purchase of Marvel Studios. I remember it like yesterday when news broke out about this announcement. And while I can't necessarily speak for everybody because everyone has different views at the time, little would we realize that sort of laid the groundwork for the success that Disney would have in the years to come. Fast forward into 2011 when Captain America was released, the first Avenger, and look how successful that was. And and in 2012 the Avengers movies. Now, they had already been building this up, as far back as, the first Iron Man movie with Robert Downey Jr., and then with the Iron Man sequels and Thor, as well as the 2008 remake of The Incredible Hulk, that those movies would sort of be the exposition into what we ended up getting with Avengers. It's since spawned into many sequels with Age of Ultron, Civil War, Infinity War. Well, Civil War was more of a Captain America movie, but it did feature some of the characters that teamed up in the first Avengers movies. The success of some of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, obviously with even some of the non-Avengers related stuff with Guardians of the Galaxy and Ant-Man movies. Ever since they were owned by Disney, they've been really cranking up a lot of successful box office hits being under the Disney umbrella. Even you look at some of Disney's own intellectual properties, especially with some of their live action movies. I mean, look at, Beauty and the Beast. And it seems like, we're continuing that trend with, with The Lion King and Aladdin, which is supposed to come out next month. I know some people had mixed feelings on the initial trailer, but it seems like people are starting to kind of warm up to the idea, and as well as just feeling the hype and the hope for the success of the live action Aladdin movie. How could I forget some of the animated movies, with Frozen? Frozen was like a massive pop culture phenomenon back in 2013 or 2014. And there's an announcement that they're going to make a second movie. Disney's definitely been on a roll for the past 10 years. And I think a lot of that success kind of traces back to the very end of 2009 with the announcement of Marvel, when they purchased Marvel Studios, even factoring in Star Wars, because when they bought Lucasfilms, I mean, they also in turn have since acquired the intellectual ownership of, the Star Wars franchise. And even in recent years, going into 2017, when they were one of the candidates to purchase 20th Century Fox, them and them and Comcast. I was gonna say the hip hop group, but Disney and Comcast were kind of going through a war to see who would outbid one another to purchase 20th Century Fox, and Disney would eventually outbid them. Disney has now have official ownership of 20th Century Fox, so that includes all their notable assets, especially some of their properties, like, with the X-Men films and even some of their television shows like Family Guy and The Simpsons. It's just really bizarre to think that even throughout the past 10 years that Disney has kind of gotten to a point now where it just feels like they're the most dominant entertainment company in the world. And that's not me just over-exaggerating, because there is truth to that. Now, I don't necessarily agree, especially with them outbidding everything and just basically getting to a point where they become like sort of a monopoly. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that kind of explains as to how we got to where we are, especially with the way that Disney has acquired a good chunk of these said properties. It's gotten to a point now where it seems like, okay, we've have all this. What are we going to do with it? And then look what we have now. Disney has announced to create their own video streaming service. It's been a common norm, especially with the way that we view our ways of entertainment. Because even though cable TV will still have a place, but there's also other methods of us to watch some of our favorite television shows or movies. Because now with streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime, and even recently with YouTube Premium, so they're kind of competing against one another. The way that we view our ways of television shows or movies is not just cable TV anymore, but also, like I said, some of those video streaming services that you could just go to, whichever, like Netflix, and you want to watch this show, you could go on there and watch it there. I mean, you don't have to wait until a certain time period to watch that said movie or TV show. Like, you don't have to go to TV Guide and having to like wait for hours before your favorite show would come on. I mean, you could just go to Netflix, you could go to Hulu, watch your favorite show, watch your favorite movie anytime you want. The same could be said for, with Disney Plus when it launches. Now, I'm going to be cautiously optimistic about this because I'm not sure exactly how this is going to pan out. It's a pretty huge investment, especially with the way that they've been structuring it. And we're not sure exactly how successful it's going to be because it hasn't been released yet, obviously. As far as some of the shows that will be featured in Disney Plus, so I'm just going to kind of look up on here because there's just a whole shopping list. So I'm going to kind of run down a handful number of notable properties, but it's not going to be every single one since it's like a whole laundry list of content that'll be featured. Some of them won't be featured right away, but over time, there'll obviously be some original content. So with stuff like The Falcon, the Winter Soldier, where even you have some of these actors from some of these successful MCU movies will be reprising their respective characters. So you would have like Anthony Mackie come back as the Falcon, as well as Sebastian Stan, who will also come back to play the Winter Soldier. Loki also with Tom Hiddleston will also have his own web series. There's supposed to be like a High School Musical TV show as well. And we'll get to some of the other third-party content as well, most notably Boy Meets World, which is very interesting because obviously they've been showing reruns on it on like, Disney Channel and even Freeform for a little while. It's kind of weird because I look at it and it turns out that Girl Meets World is not on there. So that's kind of weird that they only have Boy Meets World on there, but not Girl Meets World. Malcolm in the Middle is also in there, considering that show was also distributed by 20th Century Fox. Some of the original programs like Andy Mack, Kim Possible, That's So Raven, DuckTales, both the original 80s series and the reboot of the show, Goof Troop, let's see, the Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon, the Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah, so there's just a whole plethora. And even if we want to go as far as some of the movies that will be featured, so there'll be 101 Dalmatians, Fantasia, the original Fantasia movie. Let's see, the Goofy movies from the 90s, Hercules, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Inside Out, the original Iron Man movie, Remember the Titans, pretty much all the recent Star Wars films that are going to be in there as well, especially the Clone Wars cartoon, the first Toy Story movie. So yeah, there's just a couple other notable examples. I didn't list every single one, but those are also some notable content that will be featured in the Disney Plus streaming service. But those are like the current list that I have here on this particular website. I'll probably just post it down in the description box below just to kind of give you guys clear visual as to some of the said TV shows or movies that will be featured on there. It's supposed to be, as far as the monthly fee that will be For Disney Plus, it's going to be $6.99. So it's actually going to be a lot cheaper compared to Netflix, which seems like they're now like increasing their monthly fees. I think Disney Plus is really kind of starting to take notice of this and try to, do everything that they can to pursue their consumers to purchase their streaming service when it launches at the very end of this year. So I'm hoping that they do release more content, that there's going to be more properties that will be featured on the service, especially some of the like Disney in the afternoon cartoons, like Gargoyles, Darkwing Duck, Timon and Pumbaa, Aladdin, Tailspin, stuff from that era, and maybe even going as far as like one Saturday morning cartoons like Recess, Pepper Ann, The Weekenders, Fillmore, stuff from like the one Saturday morning cartoon days. I don't think they get enough recognition anymore. Even some of the Disney Channel original programs, I almost forgot to make mention about that. But obviously, I mentioned stuff about like That's So Raven, Kim Possible, Andy Mack. Hopefully, they do get more original programs on there. Maybe even Stevens and Lizzie McGuire, even though they haven't been announced yet. But it's going to be highly likely that they will. Hoping that they do release some of the other Disney Channel shows that I think kind of get swept under the rug. Obviously, as you could see from some of the past videos that I've done, I enjoy So Weird, which was a very forgotten sci-fi show from the 90s. I would definitely love to see So Weird be on Disney Plus. The Famous Jet Jackson, I mean, rest in peace, Lee Thompson Young. I mean, his birthday's also coming up, I believe, this month, or at least what would have been his birthday this month. I also loved that show growing up. The Jersey, which was kind of like, it was basically like a kid-friendly version of Quantum Leap, where you have all these teenagers that are very passionate about sports, and they get to wear this special jersey that could leap into a certain sports athlete's body. Especially some of the like forgotten Disney Channel shows, because they don't really get mentioned a whole lot, and they never really seem to acknowledge some of the like the pre-Even Stevens era of original programs, like even Flash Forward, which was like the first original series that Disney Channel has made, but they never seem to make any acknowledgement whatsoever. But hopefully there'll be a lot more content or a lot more updates that will be announced as the months progress. Like I said, I'm going to be cautiously optimistic about this and see where we go from here. So yeah, that's basically really my thoughts considering about Disney Plus and just how I feel about what would be featured in that video streaming service. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comment section below. What kind of shows would you love to see be featured in that video streaming service? So let me know what you guys' thoughts are in the comment section below. Till next time, this is the GSTV Reviewer signing out.